Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chelmsford Tonight. This is the show where we highlight the people and places that make Chelmsford and the surrounding areas a great place to live and work. I'm Karen Woodrow, owner of Visiting Angels Senior Home Care right here in Chelmsford, and I'll be your host. On tonight's show, we're going to talk to two individuals who are very involved in our community. Their stories in and of themselves are quite interesting and worth telling, and hopefully they'll serve as a motivation to you, our viewers, to bring your skills and interests to the town of Chelmsford. Our first guest tonight is David Drayton. David is the town meeting rep for Chelmsford's Precinct 6 and vice chair of a newly formed town committee for clean energy and sustainability. Thank you for joining us tonight, David.
Good to be here, Karen.
So I understand there's someone out there you want to say hello to.
Yep. I promised my kids and my wife I would say hi. Hey, Cole. Hey, Jace. Hi, Lizzie.
Okay, so that is a great send-off for what we're about to talk about. You are a family man, clearly busy with your home life and your children, yet you still find time to get involved in the city of Chelmsford, and you have found two ways to get involved. So let's start with your work on the Clean Energy and Sustainability Committee. Okay. How did this committee come about and how did you get involved?
Sure. So I've been in Chelmsford for about 5 years or so. And since coming here, I've been trying to find ways to get involved in some way. I wasn't really sure how. But I found eventually this group called the Chelmsford Climate Action Team. And they got started about 2 years ago. And when I got started with them, the campaign they were working on was to get Chelmsford to sign on to a climate resolution, which would get Chelmsford to become net zero emissions by 2050, and to create a committee, this committee, in order to help that happen. So that's kind of where I stepped into the process. I got involved with that group. I helped push that initiative. And when it passed, I knew that I wanted to be on the committee and be a part of that because it's something I've really been passionate about for a long time. So when it did pass, I made sure that I put in my application and got involved.
That's great. And so you were selected as vice chair of this committee. And what kinds of things has your committee been working on?
So far, since we're brand new, we're trying to kind of get a sense of how we're going to approach the huge challenges that we're facing. We're trying to reach out to other committees to see how we can work with them. We're trying to really nail down what we're going to work on. We're trying to get a sense of who the people are that are involved in the decision-making process. Really kind of making sure we have a process in place and we know where we're starting from so that we know where to go from here.
So what was in that resolution that Chelmsford was going to be carbon neutral by 2030, or you can just give us a little bit, sort of what Chelmsford's goals are in this area?
Yeah, so the resolution kind of called out that people are really the things that's driving the climate crisis right now, acknowledging that, and then moving on to how Chelmsford as a town needs to commit to getting to this point called net zero by 2050. And then it called for creating the committee as a suggestion for how to help accomplish that. Net zero basically means not necessarily getting rid of all of carbon emissions, but getting rid of as many as we possibly can. And then with what little bit we have left over, finding some way to offset those. It's like whether it's planting trees or some other program to capture carbon or something else, so that whatever we're doing, there's something offsetting it so we're never increasing the amount of emissions.
That sounds like a great program. I think you have a lot of research to do to kind of figure out where to start.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking like, electric vehicles for the police department and, things like that. But it's nice to hear that there's little things that we as residents can do. Like we can agree to have a tree planted in the berm in front of our house. Are there other things that we as individuals can do to help Chelmsford reach that goal? Or is it bigger than an individual?
So one of the really good programs that we have here in town is called Chelmsford Choice. And what that is a program that lets you choose how much of your electric bill comes from renewable resources. And the cool thing right now is that it's actually cheaper to get 100% clean electricity than to stick with National Grid. Because National Grid has jacked up their prices so much, it's like 15 cents per kilowatt hour. Whereas if you get totally clean energy from Chelmsford Choice, it's only 13 cents per kilowatt hour. So you'll be taking about 2 tons of carbon out of the atmosphere every year. And if everyone in town did that, it would be a huge step forward for us.
Wow. So each individual house in Chelmsford can make a contribution towards this goal of the Clean Energy and Sustainability Committee.
And since electric can be renewable, unlike any of the fossil fuels, putting incentives in place to help people make that decision so it actually makes sense for them, that's the kind of stuff that we need to try to figure out.
Okay, so that's great. So that's the work you're doing on the committee, but you're also really putting your money where your mouth is. You are getting involved in the town meeting where a lot of action can really happen. You were elected as a town meeting rep in April of 2020 by Chelmsford voters. Congratulations. Let's take a look at you in action, speaking as a rep, giving testimony about an environmental issue.
David Drayton, Precinct 6. Quickly to address the previous speaker.
Is this debate?
Yes, start the clock, please. When I was looking into this, I was also looking into dissenting opinions. And the number that usually flies around is 97% of scientists agree that man-made emissions are leading to the huge acceleration in climate change that we see today.
So what made you want to be a town meeting rep?
Well, it was kind of a complicated decision for me personally. I got elected back in April, but like 6 months before that or so, I was going through this phase where I was just exiting a business that I helped to start. And it was this really painful process. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And the business had made up a lot of what was kind of my personal identity. I tied a lot of my self-worth to that. And with that gone, there was this kind of vacuum. And I was trying to figure out what to do. So I talked to people who I felt like might be able to help me with it. I talked to my neighbors, I talked to friends. And the person who kind of swayed me in that direction, she was my neighbor. Her name is Hannah Barker. And she actually is a town rep as well. And she told me about what it was like to be a town rep and how it kind of made her feel. And she felt like it was one of the most important things I could do for the town because it was really apparent to her, and it is now to me, that the people in town meeting right now, there isn't really much representation from young families in town meeting. And so I felt like I needed to kind of put my foot forward there so that I could be representing people like me, because there's a lot of young families in Chelmsford. A lot have been moving here and live here. And I wanted to make sure that they had a voice, Right,
and you're the people that the town is being built for. You're moving for the future for you families like yours. Is it a full-time job?
Oh, no way. There are 2 meetings per year, and the meetings themselves do require some time because each meeting, it's like 3 hours per meeting, and a meeting can be multiple days of those 3 hours. So it is a time commitment. And then there's, of course, the time that you spend preparing for the meetings so you feel comfortable with the way that you're going to vote. And that can be kind of the biggest part of it because there's usually like 30 things you need to vote on. And so it's not a full-time job, but around meeting time, there's a lot of research you have to do ahead of time so that you feel like you kind of know what you're talking about. But even then, I should say, you never really get to the point where you feel like you know everything.
Right.
And so I felt like that was one of the main things holding me back was I felt like I wasn't an expert in this stuff. So like, am I the right person for it? And so I'm kind of finding that no one's really the perfect person. No one knows everything.
Right, so it doesn't really matter. You can make an impact no matter how much you know. And it sounds like you're learning a lot on the job. And it sounds like anybody can do this and have a big impact with a very little commitment. If you'd like to be a part of what makes Chelmsford tick, here is Chelmsford TeleMedia reporter Cherrice Lattimore with more information.
Hello everyone, I'm Cherrice Lattimore reporting with Chelmsford TeleMedia, and I am here today in the town clerk's office with a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Jennifer Almeida, and I'm the voter registration coordinator in the town clerk's office at the Chelmsford Town Hall.
And we are here today because there is an election coming up. So first, I would love to know what positions are open for nomination coming for the upcoming election.
As far as town-wide positions, we have 2 seats on the select board, 2 school committee seats, 2 planning board seats, 1 member of the Board of Health, 2 library trustees, 1 cemetery commission member, and 1 member of the housing authority.
And how does a resident, first of all, does it have to be a resident who is nominated for these positions?
Exactly. So the people who are eligible to run for office in town are registered voters in the town of Chelmsford. And it's super easy. Monday, January 3rd is the first day that you can pull papers. You will come into the office and you will let us know which office you're interested in running for. It's so easy to pull papers. Okay. And if you're interested in serving, the way you get elected is by pulling papers and getting your name on the ballot. People are much more likely to vote for people who are on the ballot than they are to write in a candidate.
Makes sense. And the election will be held in the spring. I believe it's Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Is that correct?
That's correct. Always the first Tuesday in April.
Okay, the first Tuesday in April. So it's really easy to get involved. Come down to the town clerk's office, pull your nomination papers, and get your name on the ballot. This is Cherrice Lattimore with Chelmsford TeleMedia.
Thanks for joining us tonight, David. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like doing this, I have gotten to know the town so much better. I've learned so much. It's really been an invaluable experience for me, I think. But beyond just learning stuff, I feel like it's kind of changed how I relate to the town. It's really interesting. It's like you walk through town and you look at people and you're like, wow, I'm representing this person now. How can I understand this person better? How can I connect to this person better? And it kind of forces you to grow and get to know, get out of your bubble, you know? So it's been really great. And I really recommend it to anyone who wants to do it, who's been thinking about it.
That sounds like a ringing endorsement. Thank you so much, David. We'll be back with our next guest after this break.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still, I'll rise.
That was Sheila Upchurch reading from Still I Rise by Maya Angelou, while Cecilia Lunday interpreted with her dance. That was a small clip from one of 3 videos produced by Cherrice Lattimore. Cherrice produced these as a project for the Committee for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in conjunction with Chelmsford TeleMedia to celebrate Black History Month last February. Joining me now is Cherrice Lattimore. Welcome to Chelmsford Tonight, Cherrice.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Cherrice, you have been a Chelmsford resident for 30 years. Mm-hmm. You've raised 3 children here, including Cherrice Lattimore, who was our reporter on the upcoming election. We just saw her in that clip. And you're also a member of the Chelmsford Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. This committee plays a big role in Chelmsford to help the town celebrate Black History Month. So before we talk about all the things that are going on, first tell us a little personally, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Well, it means, as an African American, it means that people get to see the contributions that many African Americans have made over the years in our history. And some of that has gone unrecognized, unnoticed. And so now we get to, and I'm so proud to be able to share that with the town of Chelmsford, because it's not always in our history books. Our kids aren't reading about it or learning about it. Like when you think of people like George Washington Carver and the peanut and all the discoveries he made with that, or Charles Drew, who was the blood donor, created the blood donation, and also Garrett Morgan, who created the first traffic light. And it just goes on, and Thurgood Marshall. So we have a rich history that many people don't know about. So to be able to share that, and it makes you proud. It makes you feel good.
Oh, that's so nice. I loved hearing those stories about the people that, they're familiar names, but we don't really quite capture what they've done for our community. And I've heard the story that 1 month to tell these tales is not enough. But I'm glad that you and your committee are being a voice to tell all these stories, and we'll see what we can do just in February.
Yeah.
So last year you created 3 short videos that Chelmsford TeleMedia put out there on social media and other venues to tell some stories. And you talked to a famous local area PhD about her work on the environment.
Yes.
And a beautiful song, Lift Our Voices, and that clip that we just heard. Now you're creating new pieces for this year, I understand.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of exciting things going on that we're doing for the month of February. And we're starting it with the Chelmsford TeleMedia, where we're going to have 2 young individuals who will come and share their gifts and their talents. And one is a young woman from Lawrence Academy in Groton. And she will be doing a poem. And what's nice about it is she's coming outside of her comfort zone and sharing with our community. And so she's very excited about that. And her brother is a spoken word artist. He'll be talking about, sharing his gift of, storytelling.
So I understand she will be doing an original poem.
Yes, she will. She will be doing that, which is nice, to explore her talent, step outside of her comfort zone, and being in front of the cameras to share. So I'm excited. She's excited. And so it'll be nice to hear what she has to say in her words.
Yeah, it'd be great for everyone to hear from the younger generation and their point of view.
Yes.
And is there some other events that we should be aware of?
Oh, absolutely. Our team, we have a working group that consists of Carly Rim, Susan McKinnon, and Brian Roy, Pedro Roy. We all got together. We have 4 people on the committee where we have been planning wonderful events for the month of February, starting with every day we will be putting out information about these notable contributors who have made great contributions to our country and world. And so each month on Facebook and on our social media platform with the town, the diversity committee's website, we'll share each day a notable contributor, which will be nice. And then on February 16th, we have Watch It Wednesdays. That's in partnership with the Chelmsford Library. That will be moderated by Brian Pedro Roy. And it will be the movie 13th. And then the second movie, Watch It Wednesday in February, will be on the 23rd. And that will be I'm Not Your Negro. And that will be moderated by my oldest daughter, Cherrice Lattimore. So that's going to be an exciting time. So those are 2 of the main events that we'll be doing in the month of February. But the highlight of February is going to be our live event that's going to take place at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts. And I thank Susan Gates for opening up the doors and allowing us to have this wonderful celebration. We're really excited about this event because Boston University's gospel choir will be joining us. It's the Boston University Inner Strength Gospel Choir. And what's so beautiful about this choir is they practice in the Marsh Chapel at BU, where Martin Luther King Jr. did all his theology speeches and his sermons. So it's a wonderful environment. And so we're so glad to be able to bring Boston University Inner Strength Gospel Choir to Chelmsford. So, and they're going to lift our spirits. We've been in this pandemic for a long time. So it's going to be a great opportunity for us to just have some hope and have some joy. And they're going to bring, hopefully really lift our spirits. And there'll be other performers on stage as well. So we're very excited about this.
That really sounds like a wonderful month that we're going to have.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Celebrating Black history. And that gospel choir gets their name and their inner strength from being in that space with
yes.
Martin Luther King Jr. studied, and to bring it to the Chelmsford Center of the Arts, which is also a wonderful space.
It's a beautiful
great
space.
Event.
Yes.
So without telling us too much, do you have a favorite person that is going to be highlighted during the month of February? Is there someone that we should be really looking forward to hearing about on the Facebook page? You said you're highlighting someone every day.
Yeah,
Who's your
every
favorite?
day. I would say I love Langston Hughes. There's so many people that I think one of my favorite is Misty Copeland. And she's a more recent artist that's still living because she became one of American Ballet Theater's first principal dancers of color. And so and have her still dancing, she's like in her 30s now. And my daughter is a ballerina, so I have an affinity for ballet. And so to see that she's still at the top of her game now and still the principal dancer at ABT is wonderful. So she's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's great. Maybe when she retires, she'll come dance.
Oh, wouldn't that be
in
nice?
Chelmsford
That would be nice. That would be some feat, to get her here. But who knows? I'm optimistic.
And so that gospel choir is the feature.
Yes.
The highlight. The highlight of the event. But you also have some other speakers and performers that will be there.
Yes, we're going to have a cellist, Evan Martin from North Andover, a soloist from Franklin, Massachusetts, and then we'll also have Mr. Joe DeVoe, who is the president of the NAACP Merrimack Valley chapter, and he's a wonderful pianist as well. So if I could get him to do a little song, if we have the time, that would be amazing. And he's going to talk a little bit about the NAACP. And also we will have Megan Baptiste, who is a Chelmsford alum. She is doing original work. Do you know Megan?
No, but Chelmsford alum doing great things. It's always good to hear about it.
Yes, so she's going to be there also to perform her original work.
Okay, we're counting down the days till we hit February. I can't wait to see all of this. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there other things that the DEIC committee does that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, it's been an amazing journey working with this wonderful group of people. We started back in 2020 at the heels of the loss and the murder of George Floyd. And when an active group of Chelmsford high schoolers and alum came together in protest in the town about the blatant racism that happened during that time. And so our committee was formed, and it's been wonderful. We've been doing Juneteenth, which is the emancipation of African Americans, and we had a celebration on the Commons, so that was wonderful. We had a day of peace. And we're doing Black History Month. We're working on Indigenous people, trying to, reckon with what was lost, for that group of people. So we're doing a lot of things and trying to get the community involved. We had a wonderful film at the Chelmsford High School, and unfortunately we didn't have a lot of participants come out to see it, but the ones who were there, the police department came out. It was a wonderful film. We had the film director come and have an after discussion after the film. It was really sad that a lot of people weren't able to participate and see that amazing film. So we're doing a lot of things, and we're continuing to evolve, and we're just trying to get the community to get interested in some of the things that we're doing. And we're excited that we have this event kicking off February to begin the rest of the journey that we'll have for the rest of the year.
Oh, it really sounds like a lot. Thank you for all you do with this committee for the town of Chelmsford. It's been really wonderful talking to you, and I'm already spiritually uplifted and,
I'm
looking
blessed.
forward to all the things that are happening. You are just another example of what makes Chelmsford a great place. You and David Drayton are like what we're all about.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate the time to have this moment. And also I wanted to let you know the event at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts will be free, and COVID protocols are, in place so to make it safe for everyone to come in and enjoy the event.
Okay, I hope we have a big crowd, so please join Cherrice and other committee members at the Celebrate Black History Month event on February 27th at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts and see how you can get involved. We'll be back after this break.
Ever wonder what happens to students after they graduate from Chelmsford High School? Well, that's the question we answer on Where Are They Now? Every episode, we talk with a CHS alum and discover what they've been up to. We've talked with doctors, journalists, engineers, authors, artists, and even a professional hockey player. There's no end to the stories of how Chelmsford High has prepared students to go on to greater things. So, tune into the next episode and find out where are they now.
That's our show tonight. Thank you for joining us. We hope this show has given you some food for thought about getting more involved in what makes Chelmsford tick. If you have an idea of someone or something that you'd like to highlight on Chelmsford Tonight, please let us know. Thanks to my crew, John Egan and Pete Pedulla. Tonight, we're going to leave you with the beautiful voice and words of Aaliyah Floyd as we look forward to February and celebrating Black History Month, including the event on February 27th at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts. Good night, everybody.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught